Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the midweek edition of The Conversation here on Lagos Television. I am Abimbola Bello.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I am Ajibola Ojeshola.
Good morning and welcome to The Conversation. I am Joy Olu.
You should have added Amotekun because of your outfit.
Oh my God. Amotekun. Welcome back, Joy. I hope you rested a bit.
Yes, I did.
Why the who again?
It's even showing from your size.
Oh my God.
But you know the children are on holiday, and so did I really rest? I don't know.
But okay, when did their holiday start? They started. Okay, Ogun State.
Ogun State, yes.
Okay.
The week before Easter. That's when it started.
So the holiday is almost over.
It's almost over. Yeah, they're resuming 27th.
Another round of school fees.
That's another.
Now, wow. Anyways, welcome back. And of course, let's get into the show for today by taking our news points this morning. Ajibola, let's start with you.
Yes, on Monday, I started with Arsenal, Atiku, Ateta, April, AA. So I'm back with A again. ADC crisis. Court rejects Mark-led leadership plea, adjourns Nofio Bala's case. The Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday declined to grant an application by Senator David Mark-led leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, seeking the hearing of all pending motions, including the substantive case in Nofio Bala's suit. Justice Emeka, in a ruling on Gombe's request to adjourn the case indefinitely to await the Supreme Court's judgment in the appeal filed by Mark, held that proceeding with a matter when the jurisdiction of the court is being challenged would amount to wrestling jurisdiction with the apex court. Justice Nwite said, though the facts of the case as stated by both parties were not in dispute, he however held that the facts are glaring that an appeal had been entered at the apex court. The judge also cited relief 2 and 3 in the motion on notice filed by Mark before the apex court, where he sought an order staying execution of the judgment of the Court of Appeal. I'm of the view, and so I hold, that it would not serve any purpose if the jurisdiction of this court is being challenged at Supreme Court and the court cannot await the Supreme Court decision, the judge held. The judge also disagreed with the defense counsel's argument that since their case at the apex court is an appeal, such cannot operate to mean a stay of proceedings before the lower court. The judge observed that though the defense argued that the appeal court already made an order for accelerated hearing, he said juxtaposing this with their relief that the order should be vacated showed that the defendants are approbating and reprobating at the same time. It therefore held that justice would be met by awaiting the judgment of the apex court. The news agency of Nigeria earlier reported that Bala, the former national deputy chairman of ADC, had prayed the court to adjourn the case before it indefinitely, following an appeal at the Supreme Court. Mark, the embattled national chairman of ADC and the second defendant in the suit filed by Gombe at Federal High Court, had appealed against the March 12 judgment of the appeal court. Gombe Tree's lawyer, Lukman Fagbemi, SAN, advised Justice Nwite to adjourn the suit he filed, pending the outcome of the Supreme Court's decision. Okay, so the ADC is back, still romancing the crisis, rocking their party, and the Supreme Court had actually rejected the appeal by David Mark not to hear Bala Gombe's case. So they will be awaiting the judgment of the Supreme Court. Hopefully, we don't know where it's going to swing, whether it's swinging in favor of Mark or Gombe at the end of the day. So that is where they are presently.
April 22 is just around the corner. It's just days from now. And of course, we know that yesterday the ADC, or the David Mark-led faction, actually held their convention, and David Mark was elected or nominated as the national chair of the party. And I don't think that has, wished away the fact that that party is still in crisis or that party is still factionalized. But however, what would be the end of the case will be determined by the court. And of course, there are two appeals before the Supreme Court, and we can only wait until the 22nd of April to know what the court, will determine at the end of the day. Whatever the court says, will either be taken in good faith or taken in good faith, because the Supreme Court.
That's the bus stop.
Last year.
So, if you now do not
After Supreme Court is good.
that's why I said you take it in good faith. So again, it depends on what the Supreme Court says. And once the Supreme Court rules, there's nowhere else, in Nigeria that except if you want to go to The Hague. And I don't know how politics would go to the Hague. So April 22 is just around the corner. Let's wait for what the court will say, and then we can take it from there.
And for me, Abimbola, sometimes I do not understand the reasoning of these politicians. They should have taken a lesson from what happened to the PDP. Going ahead with that convention yesterday, when you're still having leadership crises pending before some courts, and if at the end of the day, the Supreme Court ruled that the convention
was null and void.
Was null and void. So what will happen? You start from the beginning?
Yeah, and I think also sometimes political parties and politicians also do not learn from one another. If we all cast our minds back and we remember what happened in Zamfara State and I think in Rivers State, APC also did not stand, they couldn't, field candidates for some elections because they were also divided. So until a political party, close its rank and file and speak with one voice, then they'll continue to have issues. So if APC could have that problem at that time, ADC should know that they will not be different.
But one question I have is, I don't think the issue is with the party. It's with the people in the party.
The people in the party.
They have cross-carpeted. They were once in one place, moved to another place.
So it's
the same people.
That is why, so they took over a party that, had been there. And then you also didn't do the needful. Because I think the constitution of the ADC also says expressly that you must have spent up to 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
So at what point did you not read the constitution of the party again? So sometimes when we also look at certain things, I think all the T's must be crossed and the I's dotted when you're doing certain things, so that like they say, he who must come to equity.
Clean hands.
So again, let's see where this will pan to at the end of the day. Let's take the second story this morning. FG defends a Jile airstrike, orders probe. The federal government has defended the April 11 airstrike by the Nigeria Air Force on the Jile axis in Gobio local government area of Borno State, describing it as a precision intelligence-led operation aimed at dismantling a major terrorist stronghold. In a statement issued Tuesday night to this effect, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris maintained that the strike conducted under Operation Hardin Kai was not indiscriminate but targeted at confirmed insurgent elements operating within the area, widely regarded as a key Boko Haram and ISWAP enclave. Describing the Jile axis, locally known as Katsudaluye or terrorist market, as a high-risk zone long under insurgent control, Idris said intelligence had established that the location served as a hub for levy collection, logistics coordination, and planning of attacks. Despite the justification, the minister expressed deep regret over reported civilian casualties, extending condolences to affected families and reaffirming that every Nigerian life is sacred. He disclosed that the operation followed weeks of surveillance supported by intelligence, reconnaissance, and recent security developments, including the arrest of a 15-year-old ISWAP courier in Ugamdu who reportedly confessed to transporting funds and supplies linked to terrorist networks in Jile. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum was also cited as having previously declared Jile and nearby Gazaburi markets closed due to insurgent activities, further validating the military's assessment of the area. And following the airstrike, the federal government announced a full and independent investigation to review the operation's intelligence, targeting, and execution processes, pledging accountability where necessary. We spoke about this yesterday, and we did say that if an area for some time had been hitherto declared as a terrorist area, And for 5 years, the government had said, we do not want to see anybody in this area. And afterwards, people have gathered there, traded, done things. Ordinarily, if government has said, we do not want to see anybody here, what are you doing there if you do not have any link to terrorist activities? And, you know, like the federal government said, you know, this place had been designated as a hub for different things. Imagine a 15-year-old acting as a courier for these people. What kind of brainwashing have you, you know, indoctrinated that child into? So again, and I like the fact that yes, government says we would again investigate or probe. Peradventure, there were people who were caught, you know, in this crossfire, but it was a calculated attempt. They knew, and you know, surveillance had been carried out. So if they had worked in close contact with the state governor, who had said for 5 years, we said we don't want to see anybody here, and that attack was carried out. Why blame government? And then we are the ones that will keep crying that government is not doing anything.
And now government is doing something, yet we are complaining. Somewhere that had been closed for 5 years, and
constantly people were there doing
people
what?
were found there, and so, of course, during that airstrike, some people were killed, and people were shouting that government was killing civilians. What were you doing there? Like Abimbola put the question to us. So there is no justification for anybody to be at that location at any time, at any moment, at any day,
if you were not linked to terrorist activities. Anyways, let's see where this will pan out at the end of the day. Joy, let's take a story.
Lagos trains retirees in farming biogas skills. No fewer than 80 public service retirees have commenced a 2-day training organized by the Office of the Head of Service of Lagos State in biogas production, poultry and rabbit farming as part of efforts to enhance their social economic well-being and promote self-reliance after retirement. The training began on Tuesday and was held at the Alausa Secretariat Auditorium. According to the government, the initiative was aimed at equipping the retirees with practical entrepreneurial skills that will enable them to remain productive contributors to society. Speaking at the training, the Permanent Secretary, Public Service, Office of the Head of Service, Sukomi Oyebola, describes the program as a strategic intervention designed to improve the standard of living of retired officers while fostering sustainable livelihoods. That's basically the thrust of the story. Having served the state meritoriously, they deserved continued support for retirement, end of quote. And I think this is a very good initiative from the state government. You know, you have these people, they have served, and then it means that after retirement you are not tired. I mean, they can still equip you with some skills that you can contribute to the society and of course make some little change for yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, if you've served a place for many years, and that organization or that government must also be particular about what happens to you afterwards. So, and I also like the fact that this particular training is in tandem with, you know, evolution, with what will be needed at this particular point in time, and not necessarily just following the crowd and just doing something, you know, that might not be useful. So looking at waste to wealth, farming, biogas, and all of these things will always be there and will always generate funds if you're able to do these things properly. So we would say kudos to the Lagos State government, you know, for having, you know, the welfare and, you know, the growth and, you know, the economic stability of their retirees in mind. It goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the X platform this morning and take a look at one of the many trending stories on the X platform this morning. Of course, a one-time commissioner in Lagos State, a one-time federal minister, a one-time member of the APC is trending. Of course, we do know that now he's a member of the ADC, and they had their Congress yesterday, and it was said that Rauf Arugbesola was asking his political mentor to step down. Step down from where?
I think Baba Kabiru was just playing to the he was just playing to the gallery, and I saw desperation on his face. The fact that he is not privileged enough to be part of this government is what is actually paining some of them. including Rotimi Amici as well, and then the former governor of Kaduna State. And, you know, the kind of statement that were coming out of Rauf Aregbesol's mouth yesterday for me was not it. At one point or the other, this was a man that raised you, that helped you, that positioned you.
Me, I like the fact that as he was speaking, he admitted that this man, you know, discovered him. It was a mentor. And so again, when you fall out, you know, with someone, you must always remember that you once had a relationship.
Yeah.
And there's every possibility that you may come back at any particular point in time. But what, the things you've said, can you take them back?
Cannot unsay them.
Especially now that the internet never forgets. They will save it and store it. And if peradventure you come back, they will tell you that look at what you said. So you need to be careful what you say. You need to, your utterances, you must guide and guard what you say, especially now that politics is heating up and different things will continue to happen. So you're saying, step down. He was elected into office.
So why would you ask him to step down?
He has not completed his term.
So he's not in that place illegally. He was declared winner of an election. Even so, whatever by whatever right you're saying, let him complete his tenure and let him now tell you that, okay, I'm contesting. Because even for the 2027 election, he has not come out to say, I'll be contesting. It is just everybody that is just saying we are declaring support for him or want him to contest or want him to seek a re-election. So can you wait? And, you know, just stop hitting the polity unnecessarily.
I don't know why they're rushing. And fortunately for these people, for these characters, you know, Mr. President is somebody that is very liberal. He forgives very easily. If not, why would he say have some things, or why will Mr. President still be playing politics with the likes of Ambassador Femi Pedro, Musiliu Obanikoro? Remember what they have said about this man in the time past. But yet, he forgave them.
They know themselves, and politicians, they know themselves. And, you know, they all know that, you know, this man, they're also taking a swipe at. He is a politician to the core. He knows everybody. He knows their capacity. He knows their capability. He knows where they're coming from. He has seen where they are going. So let us wait.
What was the achievement of Rauf Aregbesola as Minister of Transportation, as Governor of Osun State? What of David Mark? What of Atiku?
Well,
and if you are coming to the table, you must come with clean hands.
Yeah, you must. You must.
Abakabiru, continue with your wristwatch repairs.
Anyways, you can go on the X platform this morning and take a further read. Just in case you did not hear what he said, you can go there and you'll find, you know, all of the things that he spoke about yesterday. Right, that's it on the opening segment of the show. We'll take a quick break. When we return, it will be time to take the column for today.
Prolonged fight against insurgency. Every right-thinking person should be guided. Nigeria is sadly losing its finest men to this war. Across the northeast, the country is not just battling insurgency, it is steadily burying some of its finest military minds and bravest troops. The recent killing of Brigadier General Oseni Brima alongside several other soldiers in Borno State is a very sad one. And, you know, it's a very sad piece, actually, and it gave a list of so many top military officers that we have lost as a nation in our fight against terrorism. And it's just suggesting here that maybe we should change our strategy and of course look at other ways of tackling these people. And now terrorists are so emboldened that they're even attacking military bases, killing our officers, and of course rendering their family hopeless.
Right. Lekon also added that a country that cannot protect its protectors is a country in urgent need of introspection. So Nigeria must come to terms with this uncomfortable truth. And then he also added that this is the time to equip, protect, and deploy those men and women with the utmost care and competence. So until Nigeria becomes accustomed to losing its protectors so cheaply, one must urgently rethink the value it places on both security and human life. Of course, losing, one man is huge enough, and then you talk of losing numbers of, army generals. It is becoming unbecoming. So, as a country, we must rise up to the challenge and look at how this can be nipped in the bud. You can pick up a copy of the Punch newspaper to take a further read on Lekon's piece this morning. The title itself is quite moving and one that is really emotional. So you can, have a better read of Nigeria's painful loss of military men to insurgency. We'll take another quick break. When the conversation returns, part one of the conversation will be here this morning. And today we're talking about politics, especially in the face of myriads of party defections and what this also portends for the political landscape in Nigeria.